Hi everyone, it's Pink Red Health and Fitness. Today we're talking about body fat. Body fat is the amount of fat stored in the body, primarily made up of triglycerides. It provides energy, keeps the body warm, insulates and protects organs. It exists as essential fat necessary for basic physiological functions, and non-essential fat or storage fat, which includes subcutaneous fat, stored under the skin and can be pinched with fingers, and visceral fat, stored deep inside the abdomen, around our organs like the liver and intestine. While some body fat is vital for health, excess fat can lead to health risks like heart disease and diabetes. Just like water, bone, and muscle, body fat is an important part of body composition. It affects homeostasis, which is the maintenance of a stable internal environment, hormone regulation, vitamin absorption, quality of life, and overall health and well-being. Given its critical role in the body comp, the question becomes, how do we measure our body fat accurately? What is the lowest percentage of body fat an individual can safely reach?
0.33 was dipped underwater.
Wow.
It was negative numbers. It was -2.
And what is the ideal body fat percentage for maintaining health and achieving peak athletic performance? To answer all that, let's first take a look at the study of anthropometry. Anthropometry is the study of measuring living humans to understand physical variations in size, weight, and proportion. It is important because one of its key purposes is to assess the effects and prevalence of obesity. Obesity is a disease linked to over 50 other diseases and conditions, including type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, cancer, chronic inflammation, etc. To evaluate obesity and body composition, some of the most frequently used anthropometric measures include height and weight, circumference, and skin fold. Among the various areas of anthropometry, body composition is one of the most studied. It is measured using several techniques, including direct measurements, densitometry, body water, or body scanning technologies. Despite its popularity, there is still no universally standardized norm for ideal body fat percentage, as it depends on factors such as race, culture, gender, fitness level, age, and so on and so forth. In healthy young adults, for example, the ideal body fat percentage typically ranges from 10 to 20% for males and 20 to 30% for females. So, what are some of the most common ways to measure body fat? One of the most widely used methods is body mass index, or BMI. BMI measures a person's weight in relation to their surface area, calculated as weight in kilograms divided by height in meters squared. It is the simplest and most popular method for diagnosing obesity and assessing health risks. According to meta-analyses of over 200 cohort studies, elevated BMI scores are associated with an increased risk of premature, all-cause mortality, with the lowest mortality rates observed in individuals with a BMI between 22 and 24. To classify, a BMI under 18.5 is considered underweight. A BMI between 18.5 to 24.9 is categorized as normal. A BMI of 25 to 29.9 is overweight. 30 to 34.9 is Class 1 obesity. 35 to 39.9 Class 2 obesity. 40 or above morbid obesity. As BMI increases, the risk of various diseases rises exponentially. For example, individuals with a BMI over 35 are 6 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, 2 times more likely to develop heart disease, arthritis, or suffer a stroke, 4 times more likely to develop hypertension, and 5 times more likely to develop gallstones. Although BMI is a useful predictor of obesity and related health risks, its accuracy in estimating body fat percentage is limited. Converting BMI scores to body fat percentage requires equations and reference tables, but the results can often be somewhat inaccurate. This is particularly true for muscular athletes who may have a high BMI due to muscle mass, older adults who lose height and muscle at a faster rate, and certain racial and ethnic groups with insufficient data, which reduces validity. Next, circumference measurements. The way fat is distributed in the body is a key indicator of potential health risks. For instance, males tend to have an android shape, characterized by more fat stored in the abdominal region, which is associated with higher health risks. Female, on the other hand, typically have a gynoid shape, characterized by more fat stored in the hips and thighs, which is linked to lower health risks. Some of the most common circumference measurements include waist circumference, waist-to-hip ratio, and waist-to-height ratio. Generally, higher values in these measurements indicate greater health risks. Like BMI, circumference measurements are convenient, inexpensive, and easy to administer. However, while they can provide insights into body composition, they are considered a poor estimate of body fat percentage and are better suited for tracking relative changes over time. Circumference measurements are typically taken at various body sites, with some of the most common being the abdomen, arm, hips, calf, forearm, thigh, and mid-thigh. After taking these measurements, specific formulas for different population groups can be used to estimate body fat percentage. Next, bioelectrical impedance analysis, BIA, also known as in-body, measures the body's impedance, how much small electrical currents are slowed or stopped as they flow through the body. Since water is a good conductor of electricity, muscles, which are 70 to 75% water, provide the path of least resistance. In contrast, fat, which is only 10 to 15% water, creates much greater resistance. BIA is generally considered to have a low margin of error for evaluating body composition, and its accuracy is surprisingly close to hydrostatic weighing, a former long-standing gold standard for body composition measurement, when using multiple frequencies and measuring across all extremities. However, BIA does have limitations, as its accuracy can be affected by factors such as hydration levels, temperature, sweating, electrode placement, and bladder volume. To ensure the most accurate results from an in-body or BIA measurement, measuring first thing in the morning, after using the restroom, and before drinking, eating, or exercising is recommended. Next, skin fold measurements. This method involves measuring the thickness of the skin and the layer of fat beneath it by pinching the skin away from the muscles. It provides an estimate of subcutaneous fat. Common measurement sites include the abdomen, biceps, chest, medial calf, mid-axillary, subscapular, suprailiac, thigh, and triceps. It's important to note that no single site can accurately predict percent body fat, and using more measurement sites doesn't necessarily increase accuracy. After taking the skin fold measurements, they are converted to percent body fat using nomograms, skin fold sum tables, or regression equations that calculate body density, which is then converted into percent body fat. Next is hydrostatic weighing, which is a traditional densitometry method for assessing body composition. For many years, it was regarded as the gold standard for measuring body fat. This method involves submerging a person underwater to determine their body mass and volume, based on the principle that fat is less dense than water. Although hydrostatic weighing provides accurate results, it is both expensive and uncomfortable, leading to its gradual replacement by DEXA as the new gold standard in body composition measurement. Next, air displacement plethysmography. Similar to hydrostatic weighing, this method measures body density, but instead of using water displacement, it relies on air displacement. The process is conducted in an egg-shaped machine, and individuals are required to wear form-fitting clothing and a swim cap to ensure that hair does not add extra volume. While air displacement plethysmography is less invasive and more comfortable than hydrostatic weighing, it is also quite expensive. Additionally, its accuracy can vary, as it tends to overestimate body fat percentage in leaner individuals and underestimate it in heavier individuals, resulting in a higher margin of error. Next, body scanning 3D imaging uses advanced cameras to create a three-dimensional model of the body, assessing volume, body fat percentage, muscle mass, and proportions. It is quick, non-invasive, and ideal for tracking changes in body composition over time. The detailed scans also produce a facial likeness, which may evoke the uncanny valley effect, a psychological phenomenon where objects resembling humans elicit discomfort due to their near-human appearance. Last but not least, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, or DEXA. DEXA is the new gold standard for body composition measurement in scientific research and studies. It uses dual X-ray beams at high and low energy levels, which pass through the body differently depending on the density of bones, muscles, and tissues. This method not only provides an accurate measurement of body fat percentage, but also offers detailed information about bone density, lean body mass, muscle distribution, visceral fat, regional fat storage, and even potential imbalances between body segments. With the lowest margin of error among all existing body composition measurements, DEXA is highly reliable and versatile. However, it is also one of the most expensive methods and typically requires specialized equipment and trained technicians, limiting its accessibility outside clinical or research settings. Of course, there are plenty of other body composition measurement methods out there, ranging from unofficial and unscientific to downright humorous. Some examples I've come across include Coach Greg's laser eye vision,
the skin fold caliper method, the hydrostatic method, and the Coach Greg laser eye method.
Eyeballing estimation, the abs visibility scale, before and after photo comparisons, the gym scale guesstimation, and even the belly jiggle test. While these methods are lighthearted and sometimes surprisingly accurate, they are no substitute for certified, science-backed approaches like DEXA, BIA, or skin fold measurements. At the end of the day, all these body fat measurement methods are estimations with some degree of margin of error. There is only one way on Earth to determine one's true body fat percentage with absolute accuracy, which is through chemical carcass analysis or cadaver analysis, a method used in scientific research. This process involves burning the body, dry ashing, or chemically extracting fat to measure its exact composition. While incredibly precise, it's only used on cadavers to validate other measurement techniques and is obviously not practical or ethical for living individuals. In the end, while there are many methods to measure body composition, ranging from scientific to humorous, it's important to choose the one that aligns best with your needs, budget, and goals. Remember, no method is flawless and all come with some margin of error. The key lies in consistency and tracking progress over time. Ultimately, body composition is just one aspect of your overall health and well-being. Don't let the numbers define you. Focus on building sustainable habits, staying physically active, being more mindful of nutrition, getting quality sleep, and feeling good in your skin. And as always, have a great workout.